The month of October is here. The first of our rains are here. It means coho salmon. And I want to talk about some transitioning that's going to happen as we go from the saltwater season we've been on to the river fishing that will be. And I want to break down the gear that's been working in the saltwater and gear you up for successful river adventures. So the saltwater has been nothing but epic this year. Truly. We've had some of the best days on my boat or in just general that I've been around, catching so many fish on a variety of gear. So I want to break down the saltwater first here and showcase what has been working for us, because in some spots it's still open till the end of the month and there are still a lot of fish around. And especially as you get later into this month, some of the biggest coho come into the sound as they get ready to hit the rivers. So to prepare you, we're going to check out some of the gear that's been the best for me this season. Really hasn't changed too much since last year. What we have done a lot more is running the spin fish, right? You guys saw this last year. I highlighted on some videos, but no doubt about it, this Yakima bait spin fish has been just a flat out producer. Putting a little squid skirt like you see here behind has been a dominant factor. Using tuna and herring scents as well as the canned tuna has really made, I think, a big difference for getting more bites out of this. And what you can see here I've done on a lot of these is I've actually taken a productive color like the rotten banana and combined it with one like a seahawk, whether it's the head or the tail, and creating our own custom colors. Doing so has really created a way to get more bites, and it's not necessary, but it's a fun factor with these that you can really be successful on. Now you see some Hypervis tape there as well. That I think has also been a huge part of our success trolling out in the saltwater. Now these spin fish have been really good trolling that 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. And I will tell you a secret. It's not necessarily about how fast you're trolling. It's more important to care about your downrigger line angle. What I mean by that is you could be pushing against the current, having to go 4 miles an hour, maybe even 5 miles an hour to get your downrigger line up to the proper speed. And you can do so by gauging a 45 or so degree angle. Having the bubble trail off of that line is always a great way to tell what's going on with your rigger. But having a 15 to 18 pound downrigger ball at that depth is going to really help to showcase the proper angle. And when doing so, it's making a difference on getting bites. So that's just the basic of the spin fish that was really good. We were really successful as well later into the season, to be honest, getting into the squids. Where that came into play truly is I noticed there were a couple days, the Edmonds Coho Derby was really successful for us using spin fish. We came into the Everett Coho Derby and the spin fish caught a couple fish. There's no doubt about that. But what I found interesting was that the fish wanted something really short leadered, 28 inches, and a squid. And we were even not tipping with a herring strip like I normally do. We were just filling the cavity of these squids with the scent and calling it good. But trolling fast with flashers like our custom here, which worked really well. And the day in, day out, once the sun was up, the purple onion was our phenomenal hitter. But the UV squids in the daytime and the glow combo squids first light charged up with your glow tube, that's super important. And if you don't know what a glow tube is, it's a really cool feature. Let me show you. So honestly, one of the best accessories we added to the boat this season, this is the glow tube. It's a black light charging station that you can put in and have your squids glow. It really makes a difference. First light, later in the day, because just a short burst, look at how much that thing glows. It's amazing. Definitely recommend them. I can put the link in the description below. But this was a game changer for the early morning fishing. So that was the glow side of things, right? Pretty darn cool. Something else that was really, really successful along with that purple onion, middle of the day, cloudy cover, was this combination right here. This is a UV needlefish squid and an Olympic tackle needlefish fly put underneath. It gives you the flash, the glow of the Olympic tackle, and then the UV component of the needlefish squid. Couple orange beads. It's imitating krill, and a lot of those coho were stuffed full of krill. And this thing must have been just exactly what matching the hatch was, because it seemed day in and day out. This one, towards the end of the season, got most of our fish. Again, 28 inches, short leader, trolling fast. So this is really ripping around. These are 5/0 hooks. Really helped keep those fish pinned. But you can see a couple pictures here. Really was successful. And it was really fun. Truly, really, really fun. We were getting multiple doubles on some of the days. We even, all honesty, we landed a triple. First time I've ever done it in a boat in the salt, let alone on my boat. So really, really fun. And how do you go about doing so? Well, we run a shotgun rod, is what we call it, off the back. This is a rod that's got a dropper set up off the back of the boat, straight out the back. And it's running 8 ounces to 12 ounces of lead, dependent on the tide and what we're doing. So an inline flasher is what we're using. This is a Gibbs Delta flasher. This was one that worked really well. Now I also was color matching our 360 flashers, like you saw there, to the lures we were running. Day in and day out, what I ran off of that shotgun rod was a wicked. This has always been my favorite for a shotgun, and this orange color was absolutely killer this year. You got a little tinsel skirt inside of that. Thank you, Mike. Was a great little tip that we picked up. But really, really, this worked well. 75 to 120 feet back with that 8 to 10 ounces of lead, depending on where we were marking fish. We got a couple fish almost every trip to hit this at least, and we ended up getting that triple, which was really cool. So always something I run in the boat. If I have enough people, that rod can be a kicker. Sometimes they can get them right next to the boat too when you're reeling it in. But that gives us just a picture at what our saltwater was looking like. Just success, numbers of fish I've never seen in the sound. It's one of the best coho runs in a long, long, long time, which is great because it's still going. That means you can go out right now in Area 10, where we're still open for coho, using these techniques and still go get more fish. So don't put the boats away yet. There's no reason to. But what does this big rain, and I don't know if you can hear it in the shop right now, but it's our first big rain that we've had in a little bit. This is going to change the game up some, right? So we're going to move some of this gear over, and I'm going to show you what this means, okay? For us as fishermen and women, anglers, for us as anglers, we're going to have an opportunity here of a transition period. These coho that have been sitting and waiting for the rain are going to fly. They get just a sniff of it. They're still coming from the straits. They're still at CQ. So there's fish all over. But now they're getting to the point where they are really driving for that coming home. And with that being the case, we need to intercept them in the best way possible. Whether you're a bank fisherman or you have a boat, you're going to have opportunities in a lot of our rivers to go chase these fish. And I really think as an angler for coho in the river, there's a couple techniques that are going to best serve you, especially from a bank fisherman standpoint. A boat angler can go chase the fish a little bit more and target things differently, pulling plugs, casting to jumpers. You can go find the fish. As a bank angler, you're more waiting for the fish to come to you. So how do we maximize our success as a river angler in this transition period? In the past for myself, I know a couple areas where they tend to be, but it doesn't mean they're going to be all the time. So you got to go explore a little bit the first couple trips to find where these fish are moving to. And then you can start playing around with the gear. So we're going to talk about a couple different gear rigs that I like to go with. I'll show a couple rods as you bank anglers. And we'll go from there. So this is what I carry in my pack with me all the time, okay? It's very simple, very straightforward. I carry 2 rods with me when I'm on the bank. At this time of the year, that transition period, I don't like to use a lot of bait because I really don't feel like it's necessary. You can get away with it, sure. When you get those fish staged up, bait can potentially produce a little bit better. But why not use gear that you don't have to get messy with, okay? I got this box of twitching jigs, and I got this of my wicked lures. And that's all I bring, okay? I run these different twitching jigs just like our custom Holy Blade jigs here, right? So these work really, really well when you get fish, especially some of them that start congregating together. Those aggressive, natured fish really love the blade. You're going to see a lot more of these jigs coming out here soon. I'm finishing up some orders. But twitching jigs in general are really, really effective. You're tapping into the aggressive nature of a coho. They see something darting away, slipping down, darting away. They can't help it but jump on it. So I carry a couple different varieties, whether they're just little squid jigs like you would. Those work well on a little bit more pressured fish. And you can even go, a bigger size. Or you can go things like marabou, which a marabou twitching jig, I'll show you a cool little difference here. A marabou twitching jig with a twitching jig that's rabbit fur. This marabou is going to create a crazy action no matter what action you put on it. Those fibers, you can see there, wiggle with the slightest bit of anything, current, movement, whatever. Now, rabbit fur doesn't compress as much in the water because this marabou is going to go to nothing. And what I mean by that is it's going to shrink down to a very, very slender profile, but the rabbit sticks to its shape. And so the rabbit is what most people prefer to use just because it's easier to fish. You can do a little bit more with it in terms of bait and scent and doesn't really impact it. That marabou cannot have scent at all. It touches scent, it's done. So there's different ways to do it. Now they have water soluble scents that have changed the game out there, but to keep it simple on an angler, rabbit fur is probably going to be more of your friend a lot of the time. But if you tie your own, and we'll do some stuff here coming up on how to do so, tying your own twitching jigs not only is fun, but when you can tie gear and catch fish on the stuff you made, there's nothing more satisfying than that. So I'm running a twitching jig on one of my rods, right? Just like this. It's a 7'6". This is a velocity rod, but a twitching rod nonetheless. A 10 to 20, 7'6". I got braided line rigged on here, and we tied up a little top shot leader. It's only about 8 feet. It does not need to be much, but that top shot helps with some fluorocarbon just to give yourself a little bit of help, because some of these fish see the braided line, they're done. They're just going to move right out of the way. So keep that in mind. Something straightforward. Now, twitching rods, I'll just touch this briefly, do not have to be a one piece. Yeah, it's ideal if you can get away with it, but what angler wants an 8 foot or 7 foot one piece that they have to stick in their car somehow and get to the water? It's really cumbersome as a bank angler. Boat anglers, all day long, one piece rods, no doubt. But 2 piece for a bank angler is way more economical. And yeah, it's a lot easier. So that's what I'm running on one rod. And then the second rod, I call my hardware rod, right? This is the same rod, 8'6" velocity, but a 2-piece rod with an interchangeable snap swivel at the top. Now, why is that important? Because I can use the same rigging setup 12-pound test line, 3,000 size reel, 8'6" rod, 10 to 20. I clip on a buzz bomb. I can zing that buzz bomb out there when I'm off the beaches in the saltwater when it was open. I can quick change this too. This is a 1/2 ounce inline weight, 3 feet a leader to my wicked, right? The Captain America color, really, really effective this time of the year too. But I'm throwing wickeds and I'm throwing hardware, essentially is what this is. Now, wickeds are really cool if you haven't heard them before. They are an unweighted inline spinner. Okay, I got a bunch of them in this leader wallet, all different sizes, colors, shapes. King killers are the bigger blades versus the normal small ones. Trying to find one. That is a regular size. Just have yourself and be prepared. This color, the green and black, is a killer low water. But your typical pinks and greens, the Captain America is that pink and blue. Those all work well. But what's so unique about a wicked lure, and so why I love throwing them, is it's unweighted. So you can swing it like a spoon and allow the weight to do the work, and the lure ends up swinging behind it. Free motion in the current. Those fish go wild over it. I've had so many good days in the recent years doing so. But that rod as well gives me an opportunity to quick change to something else. If I wanted a weighted inline spinner like a rooster tail, a blue fox, even our own custom ones, it doesn't really matter too much. So with that, whether you're wanting to throw a weighted inline spinner, something like a rooster tail in the 1/2 ounce, 3/4 size, maybe it's a blue fox, some of the popular ones, or even one of our custom Holy Molys, the fish bones. It's totally up to you on spinners like that, but that quick change allows you to do a lot of different things with hardware, including spoons. Copper is one of my favorite sneaker colors for coho, especially in clear water, but they love spoons. Don't ever discount. This is a 2/5 ounce little Clio, works great. Really, really killer spoon. But spoons, spinners, wickeds, that's one of my rods always. And the other one is going to be a twitching rod. Now, again, later in the year, if I'm higher up in the tributary systems, maybe I will pull out the float rod to throw eggs or shrimp in a jig, but not right now. Right now is a transition time to hit these aggressive fish as they're coming into the rivers. If you guys are getting some knowledge and enjoying this video, give it a like if you could. It helps the algorithm and helps us. And you want to like and subscribe because there's a lot more content coming soon. Appreciate ya. And if you guys want to see a video where we smash some fish on some of these transitional techniques like pulling plugs, check this out right here. If you want to see one on casting spinners and smashing fish, check that one out right there. Tight lines, fish on!